Hello guys, how are we doing? Welcome back to another video and what will be the final game week review of the season. As of course the championship finished on Sunday, and that was game week 46, and plenty to talk about in this video. Got 12, all 12 games, or all 12 teams were in action at the same time, as that's the rules on the end of the day. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so here we have it then. This was all of the games that took place. Some of them had very little significance, some of them had a lot of significance, and you can see my predictions compared to the results. And I didn't do too well this week. There were some shocks though, I do have to say, but the results as follows. Birmingham beat Fulham, Bolton beat Forest, Brentford drew with Hull, Sheffield United beat Bristol City, Cardiff drew a blank against Reading, Derby beat Barnsley, Ipswich drew with Borough, Leeds beat QPR, Millwall beat Villa, Preston beat Burton, Wednesday thrashed Norwich, and Sunderland beat Wolves. So yeah, many surprises there, and many reprisals for some of those teams. But yeah, we're talking about that next. So starting with Birmingham against Fulham, and this was a huge game for both teams, as relegation depended on it for Birmingham and promotion depended on it for Fulham. But it was Birmingham who got the win, and that was a huge result for them, confirmed their survival, but more so for Fulham, who effectively missed out on automatic promotion because they failed to win this game. And as Cardiff drew 0-0, a win for Fulham at Birmingham would have seen them go up automatically, but you can see there that draw against Brentford, and that loss today has cost them their chances of automatic promotion. Nevertheless, they still finished third and will be playing, I think it's... no, I can't even remember. Shows how much I know in the playoffs. And Birmingham finished 19th, and yep, safe from relegation. Another massive game and a rollercoaster one for Bolton Wanderers fans. Bolton needed a win from the start of the day to make sure they confirmed their survival, and they got that in dramatic fashion. They took the lead initially through Le Fondre, and then Forest came back and went 2-1 up through Osborne and Colback, and then 2 goals in the 87th and 88th minute from Wheater and Aaron Wilbraham, a former Norwich player there, confirmed Bolton's survival in dramatic circumstances. And yeah, good for them. I mean, what a way for them to seal their survival, and yet resultantly they finished 21st and Forest finished 17th. A game of relatively little significance for both teams. I think I've got those positions in the table wrong there, so ignore them. I think it was Hull who finished 18th and Brentford who finished 9th. Actually, should be the other way round. But yeah, Brentford took the lead through Sergi Canos, and then Hull responded. And as for these two teams, well, Hull have scored a lot of goals this season, but pretty much tells you everything you need to know. Same with Brentford. They've been really good to watch at times, but they couldn't quite finish their playoff push. Perhaps for them it was too little, too late, but nevertheless, still not too bad. This was a game that you'd have thought, looking at the takes go, would have been huge for the final day, but it didn't mean anything, unfortunately, as both of these teams were out of the playoff place, or the playoff race before the start of kickoff. But nevertheless, Sheffield United went 3-0 up, and although Bristol responded, it couldn't stop them from dropping below Sheffield United in the table. And yeah, so a pretty decent season, I'd say, for the Blades, finishing 10th after being promoted. And as for Bristol City, well, they were looking pretty good at Christmas, but a downturn in form means they've finished 11th. Cardiff drew 0-0, but still finished off their automatic promotion goal, and yes, it didn't really matter at all that they didn't score, but the key is they didn't lose and they stayed above Fulham. Well, actually no, Fulham lost anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered what Cardiff done in this game. But yeah, they seal I've got to say, deserved promotion. They've been up there for the entire season, and I did say a couple of weeks ago, even when they lost to Derby, that was going to back them to still maintain that promotion charge. And yep, Neil Warnock teams do the business, and they certainly did that against Reading, even though it was 0-0. So yeah, the Royals finished 20th, a disappointing end to the campaign for them, but Cardiff are promoted to the Premier League. A significant result both ways in this one, with Derby beating Barnsley 3-1 and sealing their playoff place, and sealing Barnsley's inevitable relegation. So yeah, Cameron Jerome, Vidra Nugent and Lawrence getting on the score sheet for Derby. Moncur pulled one back for Barnsley, but it had little significance as they needed to win to maintain their survival status, and also Bolton's late winner didn't help their circumstances either. So yeah, Derby sealed that playoff place, and they will play Fulham, I can remember now, and Barnsley are relegated to League One. Ipswich drew 2-2 with Middlesbrough, with a result that did actually matter for Borough, as that point and that injury time equaliser by Bamford meant they finished 5th and will play Aston Villa in the playoffs. So yeah, a strong end to the season for Middlesbrough, as you can see there, which meant they sealed their playoff place. And yes, as I will play Villa in a couple of days' time, I think. As for Ipswich, well, it means they finished 12th. They nearly won the game, and above Norwich City, I will add, although I am a Norwich fan. And I'll be honest, they've deserved to finish above Norwich, and they probably should have beaten us at Carrow Road anyway. But a decent end to the season for them, a win and a draw under the new leadership. We'll look to find a manager in the summer. But as for Borough, it's looking to the playoffs, and yeah, it should be a good one. A final day victory for Leeds against QPR meant they finished above the ladder in 13th and also above Norwich. QPR finished 16th, and you can see there in the form that these teams have both been very up and down towards the end of the season, and it pretty much tells you exactly why they are 13th and 16th. But nevertheless, still a good ending to the season for Leeds, who were in a really good position at Christmas, much like Bristol City, and a sharp downturn, whereas for QPR it's been pretty up and down all season, so probably about where they deserve to be. Millwall finished their season in style with a home win against Aston Villa, a result that didn't mean much to either team, as you can see. Millwall held on to 8th place and Villa finished 4th and playoffs. So it's been a fantastic year for Millwall, or 2018 anyway. Just 2 defeats, as you can see there, in 2018, and tons of games won, and they dragged themselves right from just outside the relegation zone, and they were at one stage in the playoffs, so they can take a lot of confidence for that, and I'd be pretty pleased with how their season's gone. But for Villa, moving on to the playoffs, it's going to be a very good game against Middlesbrough. Burton Albion nearly dramatically stayed up on the final day after winning 3 games on the trot. At one stage they were drawing in, or 2 stages they were drawing in the game, and it was looking as if they would stay up ahead of ahead of Bolton and Barnsley, but it wasn't to be, and Preston got that late winner, which didn't mean anything for them either, as Derby won, so it meant Preston. But still, I think a good effort from Alex Neil in his first season in charge. And yeah, as for Burton, they are relegated to League One, but it was a good fight back from them. They nearly salvaged themselves, but yeah, nevertheless, still relegated. I would much prefer if we could skip this game, but as I've got to be unbiased, we're going to have to. And yes, Sheffield Wednesday for the 2nd season in a row beat Norwich City 5-1, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It's another hammering, and meant they only finished 1 place apart, actually. Norwich 14th below Leeds and Ipswich, and then Wednesday 15th after a decent end to the season for them. So that can give them some confidence after a pretty poor season from their point of view. But yeah, Nuyu getting a hat-trick, so yeah, well done to him. And yeah, not really much else to say about Norwich, just glad the season's over. And finally, top against bottom, and a bit of a shock result really. Sunderland winning the game 3-0, and they played pretty well by the sounds of it, but too little too late for them, and it doesn't mean anything for Wolves, as they do go up as champions, although on 99 points. Still champions, so I don't think I'd be too bothered if I was them. But yeah, good result for Sunderland, gives them a bit of hope going into League One, and I think they might have a decent time in there, as definitely learned that with Norwich, and Wolves can say that too. They had a promotion season from League One, but yeah, congratulations to them. They're heading to the Premier League. So having a look at our summary then, so those result of the game week and most important victory, you could turn those two around if you wanted to. Yeah, I thought the result of the game obviously was Bolton, as they came back from 2-1 down to win 3-2, and the most important victory was Derby, who guaranteed themselves a playoff place with that win over Barnsley, and obviously that meant Barnsley went down. Goal of the game week I gave to Kemar Roof for Leeds, as a fantastic bicycle kick from close range, but a bicycle kick nonetheless. Prediction score had a good run of weeks really, and 6-1 to finish the season, not awful. Promotion, as you can see, them Wolves and Cardiff were the 2 teams going up, and Burton, Sunderland and Barnsley were the 3 teams that got relegated. So got that mostly correct. I think I predicted Bolton last time to go down, but the Wolves and Cardiff one I definitely got right. And finally then, having a look at the ending table of the season after 46 games. So yeah, Wolves and Cardiff going up as going to the Premier League. Wolves champions and Cardiff automatically promoted. In the playoffs, Fulham will play Derby and Aston Villa will play Middlesbrough. As you can see there, very close between Middlesbrough and Derby, and also on the outside are Preston and Millwall, not too far away. And then a little bit of a gap for the next 3 teams, 69, 69, 67, Brentford, Sheffield United and Bristol. And then down into the mid-table regions with Ipswich, Leeds, Norwich, Sheffield Wednesday and QPR, not too far apart. And then Forest also in there, and then the bottom section, Birmingham moved up to 19th, Reading slipped down to 20th, Bolton managed to climb out of safety just about by the skin of their teeth. Yeah, wow, that's all I can say, because if they hadn't have got that late winner, they would have gone down on goal difference, I think, ahead of Barnsley. And yes, so you can see there, Sunderland rooted to the bottom of the table despite that win over Wolves. So yeah, horrible season for them really. So there we have it. That does conclude all of our game week reviews, and I'm going to be mostly reviewing what happened in the playoffs, and then I'm just going to have one last look at the table and just try and analyse what some of the stuff I've said in previous videos. See how many of my predictions I got right, and what I think of the league. Whether I think teams deserve to go down. or not. So yeah, it's not going to be the end of these videos, but for me as a Norwich fan, I said I'm glad the season's over, but I do look for Fulham and Derby and Borough and Villa. I'm going to make out, I think it's going to be Borough who go up. You might think I should say Fulham, but I just think, I mean, they did bottle it on the last day, really. I just think Borough have got that experience in the manager and also the players to get the job done, really. And we did beat them once before in the playoff final, so hopefully they'll have learnt their lesson from that. But yeah, it should be an exciting, and so I'll probably see you in about 20 days or so with one of these videos.